Whoa!
The heck was that? Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. Thanks for showing up, Greg. And tonight's beer is actually something really special that we could have waited to do on a more special occasion, but yeah, whatever. Just like the last 4 years, just want to get them out of the way. All right, so this is Trappist Rochefort, a really good Belgian strong dark ale. Let's go over to who we have with us tonight, starting with Mr. Ashley Sexton.
Hello. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Doing well, thanks. I think we had the idea of having this as like a celebratory beer, knowing what date this was going to be following, but it's just sort of melted into, the next day of election. So here we are with a very nice beer, and we're going to enjoy it.
The ongoing 3-day election, it seems. Day 2 of nerve-wracking. All right, let's go over to Greg.
Nick, this is a beer show. We should definitely not get political at all. So.
Fuck you, Greg.
That's what you get.
I'm doing well. As you can tell, we're going to run for president next go around. Even though we're both Canadian, we're going to figure it out.
You weren't covering like which Trump. That's Trump next time, right?
Sorry,
it's going to be Trump Kanye 2024.
Oh, Trump. I think Trump could be vice president, can't he? I don't know exactly what the rules are.
I think he can serve up to 2 terms, but I don't even want to think about that. Okay, let's go over to the beer history here. So, we have one more introduction, which I forgot. We have a digital representation of Mr. Lee Ruthel of Hat and Bob. Actually, I better share the screen with audio. So,
and apparently Dusty Rhodes made an appearance too.
Dusty Road.
All right, my history with this.
Not history. I want your intro, dude. There we go.
Well, thank you, Nick. And hello to the people watching. Hello to the panel. Considering this is being filmed ahead of time, I may be dead, so this might be
on
the grave. But doing the Trappist Rochefort, and this was sent to me by Ashley Sexy Man. So thank you very much. And
nice. Alrighty, so let's go down to the year's no comments because everybody's probably watching some Fox or CNN.
Yeah. We're a little on the
we have 3 viewers apparently, so hi 3 viewers. It's probably me, you, and Greg. But actually, I'm not watching the stream. I got the whatever. All right, so I didn't even re-edit the history that I wrote back in 2000. I tweaked it, the one I wrote for 2 years ago for Rochefort 10. So we got the long Rochefort spiel. I'm sorry. Rochefort, I have had a hell of a last couple of days. So, all right. So the Rochefort Brewery began as a form of subsistence between the walls of the Rochefort Abbey, also known as Abbaye Notre-Dame de Saint-Rémy. Rochefort Abbey, located in the town of Rochefort in the Wallonian region of Belgium, is a Trappist abbey inhabited by Trappist monks belonging to the Order of Cistercians. Of strict observance, an order of monks originating from the region of La Trappe, France.
It blows up.
Mute yourself, Trumpy. All right. Where were we? From La Trappe, France. The abbey was founded in 1230, but wouldn't be until 1595 until the first brewery was founded within the abbey walls. As the monks lead simple lives of manual work, reading for prayer, and brewing beer was made for subsistence and selling enough to the public to keep the abbey open. During the 17th century, due to war, famine, and plague, the abbey suffered and had to be abandoned several times. Finally, in 1789, the area was invaded by the French Revolutionary Army. The abbey was later confiscated in 1797, sold and demolished in 1805, and the area converted to a farm. On October 11th of 1887, Father Anselmus Judong from the Trappist Abbey of Acol, also a Trappist brewery, visited the remains of the abbey, and 2 months later, the remaining buildings were purchased by the monks of Acol. The abbey was rebuilt, and in 1899, the brewery was restored. Brewing at the Abbey was again interrupted for World War I when German occupiers removed the copper fittings from the brewery in 1918 to be melted down for the war effort. Production later resumed and continued through the end of World War II. However, by the late 40s, the brewery had major consistency issues and quality lagged behind that of other Trappist orders. In an act of fraternal kindness, brewers from Scarmont Abbey and Leuven, makers of Chimay, worked with Rochefort to improve consistency, production methods, and hygiene. One of Chimay's suggestions was the Abbey focus on darker beers, something of which the brewery has stuck to today. From the mid-1950s and continuing to today, Rochefort Abbey brews only 3 beers, although they've recently introduced a 4th. We each named after the specific gravity for the using the old Belgian degrees system, so 6, 8, and 10. And their 4th beer is actually a Trappist triple, so they just released that based on a 100-year-old recipe developed, I think, in 1920. In 1997, Rochefort was one of the 8 founding Trappist abbeys to form the International Trappist Association. You see on all the bottles, they got this little hexagon with the Trappist logo. That's the official Trappist logo. And then it is placed on all goods such as cheese, beer, wine to conform to criteria required to be a Trappist product. And it's just in the case of beer, these criteria are as follows. Excuse me. The beer must be brewed within the abbey walls, either by the monks or under their supervision. The brewery must be of secondary importance within the monastery and should witness to the business practices of proper to a monastic way of life. So they still got to be monks. The brewery is a non-profit venture. Income from products are made to cover the monks' living expenses and upkeep of the monastery and grounds. All remaining income is donated to charity and the needy. As mentioned before, Rochefort makes four beers, which are their Rochefort 6, which is a 7.5% double, Rochefort Triple Extra, which is an 8.1% ABV triple, Rochefort 10, which is their 11.3% quadruple, and of course tonight's beer, which is Rochefort 8. Rochefort 8, everybody's favorite beer, aside from Rochefort 10. Is a 9.2%, 22 IBU Trappist Strong Dark Ale. So think like Chimay Bleu. Originally called a Special. It was first released in 1955 and brewed for New Year's celebrations. The monks decided in 1960 to brew it year-round. Like its 6 and 10 brethren, 8 is brewed with spring water from the nearby source in Trindane, a kilometer away from the monastery. Pilsner and Munich malts, Hallertau and Styrian golden hops, dark cane sugar, and Rochefort's own house yeast. Cool stuff. All right, let's go over to Ashley. What's your history with this beer?
Great question. Most recently, I've had this as recently as like 2 weeks ago, and it's probably a beer I pick up every a few times a year. It's one of those, and I think I know I untapped it. I tapped this in 2016. So yeah, so I've been enjoying this beer, for a few years now. Again, it's not always readily available to us at the LCBO. And then when I finally do find one and I pick it up, I'm always like, why don't I pick up more of these? Like, I don't get it. So yeah, so had this a bunch of times, a few times a year, and most recently, like a few weeks ago. So yeah, there we go.
Nice. All right, Greg, what's your history of Rochefort 10?
Oh, thank you for unmuting me. So the first check-in I have for this is the infamous night of 500 beers, November 1st, 2014. So that's probably around the first time I had it. I had probably 2014 or maybe 13 vintage. And I'm pretty sure I've had at least one bottle every year since then. It's always one of those. I see it around the Christmas season. I buy a bottle along with, I tend to like the 10 better, but they're both so cheap. Like, I don't know what they are now, like $3.75, $4 a bottle, that I'm just like, great, I'll buy another one. Remember what it tastes like. So I'm, I'm sure I've probably had, a dozen of these in my life, maybe a few more, because I don't tend to buy a lot of it, but it's always usually enjoyable. So that's my boring history.
Cool story, bro.
Cool.
I didn't ask you guys. What ages are your bottles?
Before
Ashley,
I
you're muted. I can't unmute him because he muted himself.
mine is best before. Looks like what I'm assuming that's December 11th, 2024. So I don't know how many
Okay.
years in advance.
It's I think 5 years. So you're talking about you've got
So I got the same
5-year-old beers.
Oh shit, Dan.
And Dan, how old's your bottle?
You know what? It's about the same age as Greg's.
You got the 2024 version. Okay, so
Oh shit.
on my desk I've got 2023, which means it's a 2018 bottle. And I've also got a 2020, so I got a 5-year-old bottle of Rochefort 8 right here. Mm-hmm. And I imagine that Lee's bottle is the same age as.
Well, his bottle would have been the same age as the one I drank a few weeks ago, but it's probably from the same batch.
Probably the same batch.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, I'm gonna let's go over to Dan because I'll let him talk for me. First of all, how are you doing tonight, Dan? And thanks for joining.
I'm here. No worries. I just sorry. I was running back and I'm like, oh, gotta get here. So yeah.
Thanks. And your beer. What's your history with Rochefort 8?
So Rochefort 8 I've had before, and I can't remember when. The first time I actually had the Trappist series was Rochefort 10, and it was 7 years ago. And basically we had the 10 and we loved it, and then I had to have the 8. And I had that probably about 3 months afterwards. And you know what? I've had this a few times. This is one of our go-to beers when it's a special occasion type thing.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna pan it to myself and try and give my beer history. I'm trying to find the first time that. Hold on. Stupid YouTube video playing in my ear. Yeah, the first time I ever had a Rochefort beer, I think. First one I ever got one is I got a 2012 bottle from Heist Almighty of Rochefort 10, but I never drank it. In fact, I still have it. That's waiting for a special occasion. The other one I got is the first time I actually ever had one. I think was in 2013 bottle that I drank in 2014 with my buddy Sith. So it was that was the first time I ever have first time I ever had a Rochefort 8. I think though was I think I had one in 2014 as well, but it was one that again Sith had cellared himself for 2 years near a heater, so we went off
near a heater.
The first, yeah, I know. In fact, I uploaded the review for it on my channel and got negative press, so I'm like, yeah, I'm taking this shit down.
That's funny.
And I'm glad I did because it's a much better tier than I gave credit for. I'm not Redbeard. So the first time that it ever showed here in bottles, we had Rochefort 10 and Rochefort 8 in bottles in 2015. And I remember buying a whole bunch of it, especially when it went on clearance. I bought a bunch of them. The second time I ever had one is more recently, where it's that it showed up again in New Brunswick around 2017, and 2018 another round of it came up. But it only came to the specialty stores. There's one in Fredericton and one in Moncton here in New Brunswick. So yeah, I'd have to drive an hour and a half to go to the place that actually has them, which is where I got my bottle of the 2018 version. And of course, my 2015 bottle is from the 2015 batch, my last one. But yeah, I've had this beer a number of times. But as far as the first time I've had it, was a bit more muddier than that. But I will actually say that it's an incredible beer. In fact, we did do Rochefort 10 as a beer analysis 101 beer back in actually in I think it was our first anniversary beer on Beer Analysis 101 back in 2018, and miraculously I sent one to Lee as well too. I bought up in Quebec.
Oh, you sent one to Lady Lee?
No, Mr. Lee. Speaking of which, we gotta turn the floor over to him so he can tell everybody what his history with this beer, which is I'm sure relevant.
All right, my history with this. No history specifically with this version of the Rochefort that I know about. I might have had it at some point, but I definitely never reviewed it before, as far as I know. And I did do the 10 on my channel quite a while back, and of course we did the 1 year anniversary show where we did the 10. So
There we go.
that's pretty much my history with it. From what I understand, it's supposed to be what, strong, dark Belgian ale. So somewhere between a double and a quadruple. So yeah, that's pretty much my history with it, man. We'll see what we think when we get into it here. I'm gonna have to let the head die down a little bit. Stay tuned.
You know we will. God.
I love the built-in suspense.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so now that we've gone through all that, Lady Lee probably wants us to read her comments. So go ahead, Mr. Ashley.
So we go to Lady Lee saying hello. Craig from Kent Beer Reviews is in the chat saying cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And I'm cheersing Lee and cheersing Craig. And then Basement is in the chat saying Shemay blee blah blah. Hi Nick. And then Lady Lee commented on sexy bottle modeling, and then Greg said something to the effect of "We bring the sex to sexy."
Actually, exactly what I said.
Yep, and yeah, you do. Replied Lee. So that's where we're at.
Fucking
Bring
story.
the sexy back.
No idea what everyone's drinking.
No, let's know what
no
you're
idea.
drinking.
You
God
know,
damn it, Jamie. I think was it Craig? Cheers, Lee. Cheers, and of course Jamie. Cheers. All right, so I think we're at the low point of the episode where we have to drink the beer and actually tell us what we think. Tell what we thought.
Oh no! All right.
Damn.
No, forget it. Don't want to do this. No, forget it.
there's no low point drinking this beer.
No. I'm sorry for suggesting there would be a low point drinking this beer.
Nick low point.
That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta add all the Nick low puns as much as I can.
Yeah, exactly.
You should know to have low expectations from me.
So
Low expectation. That goes to this whole show.
So, Nick, which one are you opening?
I just opened the 2018 bottle.
The 2018. Now, was the intent to drink the older bottle as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna crack that open too.
You're gonna crack that open too.
I got another glass here for that. I'm gonna be double fisting tonight.
There you go.
Now the other one, of course, I got the paper towel on standby just in case
It
it's-
explodes.
Yes, so Craig,
This one's drinking real nice, but
I had to pour mine slowly because it foamed up pretty good.
Yeah, mine blew up.
PA Brew News is my number 8 is still safe in the dungeon.
there you go. Surrounded by dead hookers.
Probably.
Lady Lee is drinking water. Super exciting. And that is exactly what Craig is drinking as well.
Jeez.
Coors Light.
No, well, yeah. Or really water, which is just Michelob Ultra.
Diet water.
God.
Drinking diet water probably. All right, so make sure that So I got the original glassware for Trappist Rochefort, which is a very nice chalice that I broke one time and then fixed.
It is a very delicate looking chalice.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold it as much from the bowl as I can.
You don't have
Especially if I set it down too hard and the thing cracks and
Oh God.
goes off the deck.
Oh yeah, you'd spill your beer. Don't want that.
All right, so let me take a look at the other one. Ooh. hello. Yeah, my other one's a 5-year-old bottle. It's actually past the best of 4 date that it's got listed on the side.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
But it's,
Probably not by that long, though.
it says here was best 4 date is on the 27th of January, 2020. So I'm assuming it's almost 6 years old. You're brewed at the beginning of the year. Still, are you telling me that this beer that lasts for 5 years isn't good for 6?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a hard dead date right there. It's like, boom, dead. It's just gonna turn into soup. Paul says
according to Sexton.
Paul is going to do a St. Bernardus 8 versus Rochefort 8. And he's saying he's at work, otherwise he would have joined. And then he says hashtag roasty hops, which was really funny because that was something he had. What video was it? He did a review. I watched it a few weeks ago, and I think it was with his ex-wife, and she said something to the effects of, "Yeah, I can taste the roasty hops." What beer was it for now? Paul, remind me. I'm sorry. It was funny.
It was something we were talking about recently, I think.
Yeah, it was just like a few weeks. Yeah. Anyways, it was funny.
Yeah, and then you were like, "Oh, that's his ex-wife." Oh, yeah, you're a dick for bringing that up.
Yeah. That's funny. Maybe it was for this review. I can't remember. Roasty hops.
It might have been for Rochefort 8 because you might have been looking up info for it.
It may have been. Gonzo Imperial Porter. Thank you. Yeah, no, because
that's what it was. Yeah, okay.
I've been drinking that. That's a great porter, man. I love that.
Well, that's
beer.
what I still want that. Buy.
Yeah, you know what?
Too.
I'm gonna have to check out my local my local LCBO. It was so random. I have the shittiest LCBO to go to. Okay, the shittiest one, but it's the only one I've seen that has been carrying the Gonzo Imperial Porter by Flying Dog. Yeah, so random. Anyways, great beer if you can get it anywhere. It's awesome.
Flying Dog. I don't know if I can get that here.
It's an Imperial Porter, but it's like super aggressive on the roast. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk.
No, we're here to talk about.
Flying Dog's a brewery. I haven't had anything from them recently. That's but it is a brewery that I did really appreciate. Yeah.
But
I've had the Reaping Bitch Belgian IPA before they changed. I don't know if they changed the name or not, but I know there was scrutiny on it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting combination.
Is it bad that I like the 10 better than the 8?
No, not at all. No, I think Greg sort of alluded to that earlier as well.
Yeah. Because it's almost there, and the 10 is bang on. Like, it was one of those ones where it's like, holy, this is actually damn good.
I don't want to say too much about kind of comparing these two together without giving away too much of what my final thoughts are going to be, but
yeah,
I mean, there is a subtle difference.
We should do an anal one
It's
time
not-
and compare the two.
Huh?
We should do a head-to-head anal one time.
What are you talking about?
Like, do a head-to-head anal. Do the Rochefort 8 and 10, and we can do, like...
Oh, okay, like do a head-to-head. Yeah, maybe.
Well, you can't do a head-to-head because they are technically two different styles. They're not...
Well,
Like,
no, but it's just a comparison.
Technically.
Just for fun, Ashley. Don't worry, it's not like in the beer handbook or anything.
I think it's kind of interesting because, I mean, reading the beer history on both of them, it's like Rochefort uses the same ingredients for the 6, the 8, and the 10. It's just they vary the quantities for each one. So it'd be kind of neat to see how does... I mean, they are different beer styles, but what's the similarities? What's the difference?
Yeah.
How about we do Molson Canadian versus Labatt Blue versus Budweiser, the ultimate showdown.
Wow.
How about go fuck yourself and take off that shirt?
Exactly.
All right.
Ooh.
Greg's gonna take. Well, I'd rather him do that than not wear a Trump shirt on this show.
There we go.
There you go.
I shouldn't encourage him.
No.
Let me know. I'll flex my breasts.
God.
Doing it now, but off camera. I don't want my nipples seen on camera. It's perverse.
Oh my goodness.
Perverse.
All right, I'll go in. I'll start. So on the nose, I get a touch of like sweet plum. Like there's a touch of sweetness, like a general sweetness to the aroma. I picked up some of those like plum type of characteristics, maybe like raisin plum, whatever. But I also get like an aroma that does remind me of like a darker cane sugar, like a darker Belgian sugar. I mean, obviously we know that ingredient's in there, but I can definitely pick it up on the aroma. I found at first the carbonation was actually quite spritzy, but now that it's sort of sat around for about a half hour, the carbonation is sort of dulled down a little bit. Makes the drinking a little bit more enjoyable. So this is definitely something that you want to let sit in glass for a little while and breathe. Let that bottle carbonation or it's bottle conditioned to the best of my understanding. I mean, there's a whole shit ton of yeast at the bottom, so let that carbonation die down a little bit, sort of coat your palate a little bit better. But as it warms up, the dark sugars definitely open up a little bit more. I get a little bit more of that plum. It doesn't drink too heavy though. It's pretty light. I wouldn't say it's super light, but I mean it doesn't drink like a super thick, heavy, syrupy type of beer. It is 9.2%, but I mean that ABV is beefed up with all of the Belgian candy sugar that they have in there. Bittering is very moderate. I do get a little bit of an oxidization on the back end. I find on the sip, a lot of the flavors are sort of really up front, and then it just sort of mellows out a little bit. But on the sip, you're still getting those like figgy plum type of flavors, a little on the lower side, getting some nice rich dark malt to it, but not like more on the sweet end of things, not like char or anything like that. It's just a nice malty, slightly sweet, easy drinking 9.2. I mean, even as it's warmed up, it's a super easy 9.2. This is not like like high gravity, like, oh god, I'm gonna feel every sip of this. This is like nice, warming, comforting experience. Yes. This is a sit down for an hour, enjoy this bottle, and maybe go grab another one for the rest of the night. I think that's why I prefer the 8 over the 10. I find that the 10 is a little bit more of a, and as it should be, it should be a one and done type of beer. And really, realistically, this one should be as well. But this one I find drinks a little bit lighter, a little bit easier than the 10. So, for me, this is a beer I should have in my fridge at all times. I mean, not to drink all the time, but I mean,
all the time.
This is a beer that it should be readily available. This is right up my alley. One thing I forgot to note too, I do get a little bit of like a not like a spicy hot, but like a spicy peppery, like a little bit of it's hard to describe, but probably more of a yeast-driven type of spiciness to it. Anyways, great beer, love it. Personal preference, this is like a 5 out of 5 for me all day, or 10 out of 10, whatever. I love the shit out of this beer. Drink it all the time if I could. And I guess for style, I mean, it's I guess the one thing that could be a little bit of a knock, but I mean, this is a beer that you'd sort of expect this from, would be the oxidization. It's a little bit, get a little bit of that papery cardboard, but I mean, for all in all, I'll give this a 4.5 out of 5 or a 9 out of 10 for style, and that perfect 10 score for personal preference.
Cool story. Alrighty, let me go back over to Mr. Greg.
Hello.
Back on.
I did. And if you're not good, I'll pan down and let everyone read what it says. Even if I know. So I like the beer quite a bit. it's been a while since I've had the 10, so it's hard for me to compare. But I do know they sort of share a similar characteristic, and I think I'm just going to go with sort of my really only one negative about this beer is that I find all the Rocheforts, or at least the 10, the 8, have kind of a burnt chocolatiness to them that I get, and I don't really care for that taste, and that's usually why it's not my favorite of the Trappist quads, at least referring to the 10. And this has that too, but this is more easygoing. I find when it's cold, I get that cardboard taste that Ashley was mentioning. I once it warms up, it goes away though. So I definitely think this is a beer you want to have pretty close to room temperature, which mine's basically at now. But again, it's got really nice. It's got the candy, sugar, banana. It's got a nice amount of sweetness to it, but it's not a sweet beer. It just kind of has that to balance. Zero booze on it. I could easily drink 6 of these, then shit myself and pass out, go to bed, wake up the next morning feeling great. Yeah. It's,
Shit yourself.
6 beers and I shit myself. That's just
just wipe your ass in that shirt then.
That's my breaking point. Yeah, I can use this to wipe my ass, Nick.
Yep.
Actually, it's already done a good job cleaning up beer that I spilled because this guy's a gusher. We got a squirter here. So I like it. I don't think I like it quite as much as Ashley, but it is a really nice sipping beer. I actually think it might be better than the 10 taste-wise. I mean, I'm always going to go for higher alcohol because it's better. But taste-wise, it may actually be a little bit more balanced than the 10, which I find has too much of that chocolatey thing. But I also find with Rochefort, a lot of them, they vary bottle to bottle. I find they can taste pretty different. So I don't know. Stout's a Belgian strong dark. I don't drink that many of those, so let's just go with a 9. It sounds like a good rating, and overall enjoyment, I'm could go 8.5 on this, but I'm going to be nice. You know what? Biden's going to be the next president. We're all in a good mood. We're going to give this a 9 because we're happy today, right? And then if Trump wins, this goes back down to an 8.5, and you have to edit this episode, Nick. So that's where I'm standing right there. 9, but only if Biden wins.
It's a rating with provisions. Yes. My God,
too close. It's too close to call.
It's a hanging Chad.
Oh,
it's
no,
the hanging Chad.
We're not talking about Chad here. All right, Dan, what you try to follow that?
No, it wasn't Chad like the person, but remember like the Florida election.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's making a joke.
Sorry, Dan, your stage, my friend.
You know what? All good, all good.
Chad joke, Jesus.
And he's this close to being monetized too. For me, I like it. Now I can't do the lawyerism talk like Greg over there can, and put stipulations into it because I don't want to do that. However, that being said, I do like it. You do get that sort of that light plum sugar, brown sugar off the nose. I find that the carbonation is a little high, but it's just me. I also do, and I find it a little bit lighter than the 10. So the 10 I've always found to be perfect for my flavor, for my palate, for what I like. It does have the right amount of booziness, and it does have the right amount of sort of the flavor, the raisins, the plums, the figs in it. And this it has it, but you can tell it feels. How can I put this without sounding just? It feels like some of the rejection from the 10 goes into the 8. It's like it's too late. It'll go into the 8. We'll still beef up the ABV on it just to keep it up there, but I still really enjoy it. It's easy to drink. The alcohol is very well masked, and I've always liked Trappist beers because of Trappist Rochefort. So for my overall style, my overall preference for it, it's a 4.5 out of 5, and for the enjoyability of it, it's a 5 out of 5. It's Trappist. These guys have always been really good in what they do. They've been around for quite some time, and they know their shit. So
is that a 9 for the style, 10 overall?
yes,
Right.
yeah. Sorry.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. All right, so let's go over to Mr. Mystery Lee. And by the way, Dan, I just want to say happy birthday.
Thank you.
Well,
I got you earlier in chat, but
Yep.
yeah, you got
Yeah.
it.
See, this is the special celebration beer. It's my birthday.
You look great for 60.
there's going to be plenty more celebration beers
I'm
tonight.
65 and I'm not retired yet. I know there is.
I know you're not that old. Speaking of being 65, here's Lee.
All right, my thoughts on this. So from what I understand of the style here, like I said, it's supposed to be somewhere in between kind of like a double and a quadruple. And so it's kind of like the best of both worlds kind of thing. You're getting the sort of more rich malt character. You're getting a little bit more body of the double. But at the same time, you're not pushing super hard into the really winey, fortified wine kind of tastes you'll get from like a quadruple. Now you'll still get probably dark fruit. You'll probably still get tartness or something along those lines, but it won't be like full on. This tastes like fortified Spanish wine or some shit, right? And this pretty much does it. Drinking on here, you get in the nose, you get a pretty good like dark fruit smell. I find like kind of like a date prune kind of thing going on, which made me think, oh, it's gonna end up just tasting like the quadruple. But then you get into tasting it, and you definitely got a little bit more body than you would generally get from a double. It feels kind of medium bodied to me. Taste, little bit of tartness, just teeny bit, but immediately sort of moves over to a kind of slightly chocolatey, but more of a nutty dryness kind of thing on the end. So it never quite pushes into that like wine territory for me. It's still pretty much like just a nice malty kind of thing going on here.
Malty surprise.
And it's just got that little sort of tart accent to it. The 9.2% doesn't really come through too much. I assume some of this kind of like nutty dryness is probably in part kind of the alcohol. Fucking cars. Some of the fucking alcohol astringency, but it's so unpronounced. It's just so subtle and so delicately kind of put in there that you don't really. It's not really a negative in any regard, and it's definitely not like warm or hot going down or anything like that. In fact, it's pretty dangerous. It's very easy to drink. Obviously, very well made. It's got decent complexity. It's not quite as complex as, say, a quadruple would be, but it's getting close to that. And so, from what I understand the style to be, I'd say this pretty much hits it out of the park. I'd say about a 9.5 on style. My overall enjoyment, this is pretty up there. I think I'd still enjoy more like a Duvel or something along those lines. That's kind of what I look for with the big Belgian beers. But excuse me, this is really good, and I'm going to throw a solid 8 at it. Thank you again to Ashley Sexy Man for giving me the sexy brew. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the people watching. And cheers. Hope to see you guys again in person sometime. If I'm not dead. And this is from Run the Grave.
I really hope he stays safe at work tonight because that would be really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also-
yeah.
also,
That would be like that's too much foreshadowing, man. Take care.
God
Of
damn it, Lee.
Don't kill yourself trying to steal another new pair of boots from your company. Alrighty, I believe it is my turn to give my thoughts on this beer, and I've got to say that I have, for once, like having to follow up Ashley and Lee. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fucked. I didn't even say anything about the aroma. I do find that the flavor's got this. It's got this nice flavors of dark fruits and pear. I believe Ashley used the word plum. It's pretty accurate. The finish has got like a Brett-like crispness, I find, on it, which is more present on the newer one than it is on the older one. And yes, I am double fisting to those people tuning in. I get lots of spices, like the cinnamon, all spices, the pepper, like black pepper. The flavor's it's very mellow. Like this little thing, like as Lee mentioned, this is incredibly dangerous, whereas it's very mellow, easy drinking, get this nice taste of like sweet chocolate and brown sugar and molasses. Lovely, almost like a chocolate liqueur, like chocolate flavor, like you get from a Christmas candy. Almost reminds me of like get on chicken bones.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Chicken bones.
damn, sons. All right. It's not boozy though. Like I will say that it's kind of got that liqueur chocolate taste, but it doesn't come off as boozy. It's got this nice, lovely brown sugar sweetness, chocolate in the back, but I mean it's not as quite as in your face and punchy powerful as what you get out of the Roast for 10. Both of these beers are really good. I like the older ones slightly more. The sweetness is more present, but the spices are more well rounded off and more subtle. There's a bit more red apple coming out in the older one as well. They're both it's splitting hairs. I don't even think I would give. It's like too close to call, which is really kind of the theme of the last couple of days. That I would give these both the same rating because. How can I? It's hard to pick a favorite here because they're both pretty fucking good. I will say this: I do like the 10 better. That's just my personal preference, but I'm not. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. So when you compare this to other beers of the style, like it's classified as a Belgian strong dark ale, I would probably favor a Chimay Bleu over this. Although I would definitely take a Rochefort 10 over the blue. So I would say that as far as a Belgian strong dark ale goes, it's a little dialed back. I would give it an 8.5 out of the style, but that the rating is still, the overall enjoyment is still a solid 9. And there you go.
Cool.
All right. So I'm gonna. Hopefully, I don't throw you under the bus too much with this, Lynn. If I ever annoy you with this, Ash, let me know. But
I'm more than happy. It's so funny that tonight I was the one that sort of came out sucking the dick on this beer, and
well, technically you tie with Damon, so
Ashley, you suck a mighty dick.
Right? No, I don't. Terrible. So where did I leave off? PA Brewers is swinging through Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and down to Kentucky this weekend. Hopefully, to pick up some tasty brews. So new beers to review soon, he says. Lady Lee's like, ooh, backstage beer. Ooh.
Backstage reviews.
I was referring to me taking my shirt off.
Reviews.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're doing it again.
And then Paul says, nothing like throwing up a bit in your mouth during a beer 101. Thanks, Greg.
Keep throwing up. All over me.
Then
are you talking about his shirt, or are you talking about his?
Probably a little bit of both.
Taking it off.
The shirt, the stripping, the shirt itself. Lily says, porn you always knew that you never wanted. And that is 100%. And then Paul says, I know what I think, and I would make normal people vomit way more than just a shirtless Greg. Hashtag
Way more.
Raped porn. Still hate typing on this Samsung, he says. And then he says black pepper, absolutely. And I think that sort of came in when I was talking about that general spiciness, that pepperiness, not like hot spicy, but it's hard to describe, but peppery spiciness. And then Tekumuri says, "Hey, fucks." Lee says, "Don't tell me how to horny," whatever that means. Oh, okay.
That's what she said.
Yeah, there we go. And then you were just out of nowhere for no good reason, just throws the grenade out and says, "Best ingredient on a pizza, pineapple or anchovies." And it's just like, oh God. Hashtag trip to the petting zoo. I would eat the salted fish over effing pineapple. I said, I'll take the pineapple. Greg says pineapple, but anchovies can be good too if done properly. I admit I've never had anchovies
Never had
on a
pineapple. I'd probably try it and then puke it up, but I'd still try it.
Lady Lee says I would eat both, but prefer to have neither on my pizza. Scott Myers says pickles on pizza. Greg says I don't like fresh ones, but dried.
Interesting.
Dried what, Greg? What were you talking about? I don't like fresh ones.
Anchovies. Like usually those like the kind of ones from cans and stuff. Like if you get the really fresh ones, I've had those on pizza. It's kind of weird having fresh fish on pizza or fresh-ish fish, but when they're kind of like made into like basically like anchovy jerky kind of. I find they're better that way.
Well, there we go.
The weirdest ingredient that I really like on pizza is spinach.
Spinach it just sort of takes up space and just adds nutrients, really.
Beta or something.
In reference to what Scott said, I mentioned that a local brewery, Breakwell Brewery, they have a dill pickle pizza on the menu, which I have not had a chance to try yet, but I would like to.
You must.
And then Scott says, I put my pickles on my home nachos all the time. Now, when you say your home nachos, are we talking about like straight up Mexican style nachos, like all the cumin and cayenne and all that, and then dill pickle on top? That's a weird mixture, but I may try it.
For now, it's coming, Ashley.
Whatever. Depraved human being. Jamie mentions this beer is amazing and I almost never buy it. I need to get me one because it's been a while. Indeed. If only there was a review show that I could drink this with other like-minded individuals. Yeah, I know. Jamie. I've been searching for this channel my entire life.
One day.
Yeah. And then, Greg just says, that's stupid, Jamie. Stop being stupid.
He's stupid. The man is stupid. What are we going to do?
And then Scott says, I have not tried that Chicken Bones booze. Sells out every time.
Yeah, there's a distillery in New Brunswick that makes a Chicken Bones booze, like Chicken Bones moonshine. They literally take moonshine and then they soak chicken bones in it. It sold out like crazy last year. They couldn't keep it in stock. I wanted to get one, but it was like really hard to get. It was all over the news. But this year they're making it again, although it's not officially endorsed by Ganong, so it doesn't have like Ganong logo and everything on it. But it's still apparently made with chicken bones and still pretty expensive. And I don't know.
It's unnecessary.
Story. Yeah,
unnecessary.
A little bit.
You can
make your own just by soaking.
Oh my God! Yeah, you can make your own infused vodka gin.
And for Ontario people that are watching, or Americans that are watching, a Ganong chicken bone is like a pink. It looks almost like pink peppermint, but it's actually a cinnamon heart candy with a chocolate center. Yeah, you got to know to know. You have to know. Yeah, it's an Atlantic Canadian thing. So.
And it's just like in Montreal, there are these hard candies called humbugs. And you can't really describe what a humbug hard candy is unless you've had one before and you live in Montreal and you eat them. But yeah, that's sort of what Ganong Chicken Bones is like. You just don't know until you know. So hopefully Nick was doing all the math and stuff.
I was. In fact, we're ready to give our ratings. Ooh, that's a pretty good score. It's weird that we gave it a higher score overall than for style, because usually it's the other way around.
That was me though, because I gave that bitch a 10 out of 10 for overall. I love the shit out of this beer.
I gave it an 8.5
too.
So I gave it higher rating for style than overall. So I think I brought the style down.
I gave it a tentative 9, but Nick, you're gonna have to go back and change the score.
It all depends. I'd have to have a recount. Oh, Jesus.
We're only from certain reviewers, though, not the ones that agreed with you.
All right. There's so much bias today.
And the magical question has been asked by Lady Lee. What beer is being reviewed next week?
Well, this is going to be counter. I didn't actually grab it out of the fridge, but this is going to be counter intuitive or what do you call it? Anticlimactic. That's the word, because there's no beer next week. Because next Wednesday is Remembrance Day. So in honor of our vets, we're just going to have a regular old hangout and not do beer analysis. Plus, I want a week off. The week after that, on the 18th, we're going to do. Did we decide we were going to do Hop City?
If you want to do it, do it.
All right, we're going to do Hop City Boxcar Bock, which I don't have the
Bock.
can, but I just pretend I'm holding the can here.
Yeah, I should have made one handy, but yeah, it's their Bock. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, I can look up a picture of it.
Stand by. We are pulling up the picture now.
like a Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I will take what is taking so long for 3,000.
All right. There we go. Well, you know what? I just clicked on that by random, and it turns out it's the NB Liquor website. But I know you can get this in Ontario. It's the Hop City Boxcar Bock, and that's how much I can buy it for, which I already have a can of it. I had a can already of it.
How exciting.
Yay. But you guys can get it in Ontario, so it should be safe to say that we can get that for next week's beer.
If not, it'll just be you and I.
Weeks from now. Greg can get it. If not, we'll just change it at the last minute, like we sometimes do.
I hope I don't have to travel too far, Nick.
Greg, I would buy it quickly because it's selling like hotcakes.
Oh,
You know how Hop City beers are like the new Bring Out Your Dead.
Oh, goodness gracious me.
It is not selling like hotcakes.
It's a fucking crafty block made by Moosehead, so it's like, what do you expect? Oh, we haven't done a Hop City in a while. Like, I think we did one a while ago. I think we did 8 Sin, like
8 Sin, their black lager.
Technically, we still got like Barking Squirrel and Hopbot we can do.
But please don't make me do them.
No. Barking Squirrel is probably so old here, I wouldn't even want to do it.
Nick, it's going to be...
You do that. Nick, if you do that, I will send a Boxer Watermelon to you to do this.
Do it.
Oh, God,
I actually kind of want to try that. Not because it's any good. Sometimes I have a weird penchant for wanting to do shit that's bad, too.
It made my sink almost throw up. It was that bad.
Living dangerously there, Nick. You're living dangerously. Yeah. God.
We used like so much nudity in this episode.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Need more nudity.
All right, so where are we in the comments?
That's it. We're good.
I know Leah called everybody socialist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's it. We're gonna go offline. We might be back on for an after chat. Who knows?
Sounds good.
All right. I want to thank everybody for watching. Lady Lee, Jamie, Scott Myers, Fuzzy, and who else?
Paul, Craig,
Brutus, absolutely, and Jamie. I think I said Jamie, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, Craig. Can't
Sorry.
forget Craig.
Apologies.
So you know what? Absolutely. Cheers to Craig. Love you, buddy.
I got no beer
Agreed.
left. Cheers
Yeah.
anyway.
That's how inconsiderate Craig is. He doesn't have any beer left for a cheers.
I'm an asshole. I know it.
He's
I got nothing.
shirtless, so I mean that counts for something, doesn't it?
There's
I'm
your
also
tip. It's his penis. Oh, we even squeezed penis in at the end of the episode too.